Uh-oh. I haven't done this in a while from my phone. I gotta turn off all my ringers and buzzers and all of that stuff. All right. Give a minute for people to come back in. Now, I think I haven't done this in a while, but I think I can see a whole bunch of. I think I can see the comments on there. Oh, but these pop-ups, that's gonna be a little annoying, but we'll deal with it. But the cool thing is now that it's like this, I can actually pick the phone up and I can move it around. Yeah. I give a minute for folks to come back in. In the meantime, in between time, the weird thing is I don't see any comments. I don't know if y'all are commenting. If y'all are commenting, I can't see it. If you are, I can't see it. I don't know what's going on. I can't tell you, but that's just how the deep state works. They always keep the technology changing. I bet you, though, if I go to my Facebook page, I bet you I can see some comments. YouTube gonna be mad at me. I have to upload this later to YouTube. Try to do as much live as I can over there, but it is what it is. I'm still working on my technology. Okay, there we go. I can see comments on my laptop. I don't know why I can't see on my phone. Maybe it's because it's landscape or something. I don't know. All right, so perfect. We're commenting. Gerard, what's going on, Harsh? Angela, okay. So we're good to go. Perfect. Thank you, Gina. Not perfect. I'm a little dirty, a little sweaty, girl. It's hot. Oh, it's hot. It's hot. It's been it's almost 90 degrees out here. But it's okay. Definitely not perfect. All right. Nice Stein. Thank you, Ivana. My friend makes that. My friend makes these cups. My friend. Actually, I want to start selling them, to be honest with you. You can make a lot of money selling these things. Handmade. Made from good old Pennsylvania and Jersey clay. Local made. Handmade. Made by local hands. Sustainable. Am I on Wi-Fi or your phone? I'm on my phone now. I think people are saying it sounds better. Aslan was asking that. Here you are again. Broadcast just not great today. I can hear you though. Okay, you can hear me now. Visually, tad unfocused, no choppiness. Thank you, Christine. All right, here we go. So yeah, stevia. If you can see this a little better, it's all in my face. This is stevia. This is what stevia looks like. And what you want is you want a bush. You don't want it leggy like this falling down. It's only like this because I'm so busy. I haven't had time to cut it. You know, you want to cut it. Where you cut it, it's just like basil. Like, can you see between the two nodes? Right. Oh, let me see. Is that a good one? Now let's show you. We'll show you this one. So you see the plants growing in the corner right there between the leaf and the stem. That's another leaf. That's like another stem that's coming out. So stevia is just like your basil. What you want to do is cut it right here. Cut it right there. Then I'll take that tip and I'll just basically take it, stick it in the soil. You can put it in water if you want. I just stick them right in soil. And what'll happen after a week or two, you'll get a plant growing. It'll grow a new root system. If it's in water, I put in water for about a week or so, starts to grow roots, put it in soil, and you got a whole new stevia plant. And again, it's going to grow tall and leggy like that unless you start chopping it at the top. Chop off the top 30% if you can. Take the stevia leaf right there. And the whole purpose of stevia is so you don't die. That's what stevia is. Because sugar is a carcinogen. You do not want to eat sugar. Stay away from all the sugar you can. Take the stevia leaf, put it in your tea. I like to dry them. What I'll do is I'll take them and I'll put them on like just in a pan or put them on a tin foil or whatever. Put them in the sun like on a real hot sunny day. After about 8 to 10 hours in the sun or just all day, they turn brown, they dry up, they shrivel up. Then take them, put them in your coffee grinder, hit the little thing bzzz, for like 30 seconds, like 10 seconds. It'll turn into a powder, put it in a jar, seal it, and anytime you need sugar, you just take it out. Or you just pop it in your mouth. Oh, that's so delicious. Mm. Oh my goodness. Mm. Real stevia, natural stevia. I mean, it's 300 times sweeter than sugar. It is beyond delicious. I like to grow it because the kids like it. And the more you grow that your kids like, the more your kids will buy into it. I love stevia. Eva, you want a green mug? Okay. I got green mugs too, I think. Way to go, buy local. As much as possible, buy local, as well as grow as much of your own food as possible and eat it fresh. Like I said before, when you grow a garden, eat everything out of your garden fresh. Don't waste the nutrients. You know, you waste the nutrients on the grocery store stuff because it has no nutrients anyway. It's got very little nutrition, very little enzymes. You can cook the hell out of that. You're not going to destroy it. It's not going to be any worse than what it already is. But as for me, as much as I can, everything out of my garden, I eat raw. Actually, I guess I can show you a little more with this. Let me see. Do you dry it for winter? Yeah, what I like to do is I'll wait till the end of the year. I'll dry my peppers. I'll dry my stevia. And my pepper, I make like a pepper seasoning. I like to grow the Caribbean Reds. I like to grow the habaneros. I like to grow the green chilies and red chilies. And I'll take them, I'll dry them. I dry those differently because they're thick. I don't dry them outside. I'll put them in the oven. I'll chop them up as small as I can. I'll put them in the oven. I'll put the oven on like 100, 120 if you can get it, stay that low. Because if you keep it under 120, then the enzymes stay alive, which is an important thing. They actually go dormant. You get over 115, 120, it kills the enzymes. You reduce the amount of nutrition you're going to get. I'm not even sure how long they stay in there. I'll put them in the oven. I'll leave them in there. I'll go do other things. I'll keep coming back and checking on them, keep coming back and checking on them until they're dry. When they're dry and like really, really crispy, then I'll take them. I'll do the same thing with my coffee grinder. I'll put them in the coffee grinder, turn them into like a little powder, and I'll put them in a shaker. And I'll save my that'll be my pepper that'll take me throughout this season. The only thing I'm going to warn you about, if you use my method, make sure you do not use that coffee grinder to make coffee the next day. You will regret it. Especially if you're using like Caribbean Reds and habaneros and oh my goodness. Oh, wow. I mean, when I do it, like I really understand the power of these peppers now. When I dry them out, like I'll walk in when I dump the actual pepper into the seasoned shaker, I'm like closing my eyes, I'm holding my nose, I'm making sure I don't get anything on my hands, and I'll run and I'll wash as soon as I finish doing it. Just a little bit of the habaneros dried can go a long way. A little bit of the Caribbean Reds. If you've never grown Caribbean Red, you'll love it. Caribbean Red is delicious, man. But it's hot. I forgot how many Scovilles it is. It's pretty high up there. It's far beyond jalapenos. It's beyond habaneros too, I believe. It's nowhere near Ghost. Ghost to kill you. That's just not. Don't ever and drop it in like a big bowl of spaghetti, and it's literally too hot to eat. I like to use my dehydrator. Yes, Gina, definitely dehydrators are phenomenal, great thing to have. I try to tell people to get the dehydrator. I've got one. I really don't use it much, but try to get one that has a temperature setting, right? Because you want to make sure that you keep the enzymes alive as much as possible. And I think skip over. All right, I'm gonna skip over. What I did, I just shut off Wi-Fi, so I'm gonna operate on ISP now. Somebody's net neutrality's coming for me. They don't like me talking about stevia. They don't want me talking about peppers. So yeah, I'll do that, and I'll dry my stevia, and I'll take them throughout the winter. But I also grow stevia throughout the winter too. But definitely don't. The Caribbean Reds, like I said, that's a tight pepper, boy. That'll tear your butt up, literally. It'll tear your butt up, but it'll tear your eyes up and everything else. So make sure you clean up good when you actually do it. Yeah, it's beyond spicy coffee, Gina. It'll change your day. It'll change your religion a little bit. You got some of everything up there. Yeah, I do. I can actually show you around a little bit. Y'all want to take a quick little tour. The thing is, I don't know like how much is boring. That's my problem. To me, it's all interesting. I'm gonna tell you. I was watching Sister Emmy earlier today. She did a video on what's her video was on spiritual narcissist. And I was watching, I was kind of thinking, I was wondering, am I a plant narcissist? I think I might be. If I'm not a plant hoarder or a plant narcissist, I definitely am. And I like love all my plants around. These are my babies. Y'all don't be talking about my babies because I love my babies. But I don't know if it's boring. I don't want to bore anybody. Okay, it's interesting, Katie. Okay, all right, it's interesting. Okay, look. Okay, so I'll try to show you a few things. I won't bore you. There's thousands of little plants up here. So all right, let me see if I can flip my camera around. Now, don't judge me. Listen, I don't grow to be cute. I grow because I like growing things. Now let me flip this around. All right, here we go. Lots of plant shelves. All right, that's my coffee. This is my dirty little plant table. This is where I do all my transplanting and stuff. There's my basil. I was actually just transplanting basil. So I got tons of basil still growing. I'll grow them up little trays like this. If you want to grow basil, what you can do is get a little tray like this, and I'll put like 2 or 3 basil seeds in each, and I'll just sprinkle them throughout the tray. And mind you, these are the ones that I'm being lazy and I'm actually not planting. Not yet, because I've already planted a couple hundred of them in bigger pots and put some in the ground. So these are the ones I'm being a little prejudiced against. I just have not had time to do anything with them, so they're sitting here. And plus, I think these are, if anybody can recognize the little ones that are just starting to come up, those are actually Thai basil. Thai basil has a different taste than sweet basil. That's sweet basil, Genoese basil back there. But these little guys, these are Thai basil. They grow a heck of a lot slower, but they have a little bit of a spicier kick. So I like that. This is a mess of an aquaponics system. This is what I'm saying. I have to actually tie these up. These are tomatoes right here. I don't even know what's over here. I haven't even looked over here in a while. But I need to take this tomato and string it up. I wish I could if I could actually get a stand to hold the camera, I could show you. But you see this green string back here? Basically, the way I like to grow them, I string them up. And so instead of putting them on a stake, this is an indeterminate variety. I have no idea what this is. I don't really care. I grow a lot of stuff. But I need to tie it up. And then what I'll do is, you'll see throughout the season, it'll grow up on top of this stand right here. And so basically, it's going to end up being like a tomato. Let me see if I can step back. Y'all can see this. You can see the whole thing. That's going to end up being a tomato tree at the top. See where that old umbrella stand is? I'm basically going to put wire on top of all that. You can see some on top of it, but all the tomatoes and cucumbers are going to grow from the base there, which is the aquaponics system. You can't see because it's so daggone overgrown because somebody's not taking care of it. And it's going to grow to the top, and tomatoes will hang down. So there's a bunch of stuff growing in there. There's all kind of cucumbers and stuff. I haven't even looked. This is a grow tower I made. All that basically is, it's a rain gutter. And I carved up some PVC. This is like 5 years ago I made that. Water pumps out of the base reservoir down here. And there's no fish in there, by the way. It pumps up, it goes into the grow bed over there, which I haven't looked in there. It's just always overgrown. That's a good thing about aquaponics. It can just overgrow and it doesn't care. What happens is, in aquaponics, you don't need a big root system, which is why you can grow a lot of plants in a small area. So the whole planting guide, you need 12 inches here, there for tomatoes and peppers and cucumbers and all that stuff. That's nonsense. You don't have to listen to any of it because the plants have access to water. They're going to just constantly keep growing and growing and growing and growing. They don't need big root systems because all their nutrients are flooded to them. So anyway, all the peppers are growing down there. Uh-oh, I'm dropping stuff. There's more basil up over here. There's a, this was one that a sister online told me about. I forgot her name. I'm not going to say it because I'm going to mispronounce her name. But these are gooseberries. So I've never grown gooseberries before, so I'm growing some gooseberries. It's another type of nutrition. There's more basil back here. This is a little bonsai. This is a bougainvillea. You recognize the flower, bougainvillea bonsai. If you see these big pipes up here, so this is what I mean where you can grow a lot in a small space. So this is a pipe that actually goes all the way around the deck. And guess what's in there? Water. You see all the big holes? There's actually nothing in them. This is where I'm supposed to put plants. Here's a tomato. that's growing out of one. So basically, I just took, I think this is like 3-inch PVC, drilled holes in it. I have it snaking around the deck, and I just stick holes in. I just stick plants, take cuttings of plants and stick them in there. You can kind of see further down there. There's mint and there's more tomatoes and peppers and everything. It all feeds out of this aquaponics system. So it pumps up. The water splits off here, goes into the grow bed. Water comes higher up this pipe and splits off. Some of it comes over here, goes down into this particular grow tower, and the rest goes down through that pipe, goes all the way around into the big piping system. Now, of course, it's pretty empty. I can put an awful lot more plants there, and that's my plan. I just haven't had time. So eventually that whole pipe work that goes all around that deck is just going to be full of tomatoes, peppers, and everything, if this person can get time to do it. But anyway, so it's tons of plants. I got little things like this is a rain tree bonsai that's coming up. This right here, this is a malungu that I'm growing out. It's an African herb. This right here is a Djibouti kaba. This is a weed. And by the way, there's no such thing as weeds. Plants grow where they're supposed to. And because a plant is growing somewhere and you don't like it, doesn't mean it's a weed. It's just a plant growing where you don't like it. There's no such thing as a weed. This is actually one of the plants I love. It's a Djibouti kaba. That's what this guy is. This is my baby right here. This is a big Djibouti kaba. She's a lot smaller than what she was. It's a plant that basically grows berries. If you look on my page, I have a whole bunch of pictures of it. It actually grows berries on its stem. I don't see any flowers on there, but it's a Brazilian fruiting tree. It grows a fruit that tastes like a grape. So that's what that is. Can't see this pot here, but this is a leaf coming off of my avocado. So there's a big avocado growing out of the pot behind it. And we can walk over here. There's more stevia. Here's just a different pepper that's growing. Here's some sorrel. Sorrel, you can make like a really nice, here's a little bigger sorrel. You can make a nice jams and jellies and teas out of sorrel. A brother gave me those who make sorrel wine, so I'm kind of growing that out. In fact, there's some mint growing in here. Here's a little ornamental flower. It's pretty. I don't know the name of it. This is a little yellow shrimp plant. I got a bigger one. Where's my shrimp plant at? I have to show you. Okay, so this little guy is just a cutting of a shrimp plant, which is over there. See the yellow flower? That's a shrimp plant. It has a very interesting flower. The hummingbirds and butterflies love it, which is important. This guy is a pomegranate. You can buy a pomegranate, stick the seeds in the ground, grow a pomegranate. Ooh, this is the other sweet plant. So you see this right here? This is the Aztec sweet herb. So this is the other sweet plant that you can grow, which stevia is hard to grow in the winter where I'm at, but you can actually grow the Aztec sweet herb a lot easier. It grows dormant. Like this whole plant was completely dried out. You thought it was dead. I'm gonna eat this leaf. There's a different flavor in the Aztec sweet herb, and it's hard to describe. The only way I can say it, it's a little spicier. So anyway, other things, I won't show you too much, but this is an African basil. This is was purple basil. I like that. It tastes kind of like sweet basil. It's got a little spicier kick, but it's easier to grow in the winter. If you don't grow it, I suggest you grow it. This one it thrives in low light conditions. Never really want to let it flower. Some of y'all saw in Claudia's video, you always take the flower off, and that'll cause it to do this back budding. This was the back budding I showed you. Oh, look at the spider! Look at the spider! Yay! Y'all love a spider. Everybody love a spider. I love spiders. No, I don't. I hate spiders. I'm scared to death of them. But I'm okay with the spider. He's on my basil. He's protecting it from other bugs. So anyway. But anyway, this is how it back buds right there. So when you cut it from the top, those two little buds, two little leaves in those corners, they'll grow out. You want to grow out into a bush. I grow that because it's really easy to grow. I like to eat from about 3 or 4 different types of basil. These guys are just sunflowers. I'm growing them out. I don't know what to do with them. You know, I'm gonna try to go a little faster. I barely made it through one tray. What is that? That's a lemon. Some more lemons over there. This big thing right here, this is a papaya growing out of that big pot right there. This is my baby papaya. This one's a little special to me. This is this is a seed from one of the last papayas my father ate. So before he died. So This tree kind of has a little bit of sentimental. Gone again. We were back, now we're gone. Back, gone, back, gone, back, gone, back, gone. And this is crazy because I've only gone through 2 trays. But this is a sensitive plant. This is Mimosa pudica. It's the one evolved the ability to close up when it gets touched. See the whole thing just shut down. Isn't that crazy? It's freaking! It's freaking. Anyway, and this is one of the tomatoes. Long time. Well, I think the last garden video I did. This is a tomato. This is an I don't know tomato, but I call my medicinal tomatoes. They're open air pollinated. I never know what I'm gonna get season to season, and I don't care. There's some aloe down there. You always got to have aloe. Anytime you get a burn or anything, you get mosquito bites, you get skin rashes, irritation. That's awesome. That's an asparagus fern, not medicinal. There's a bunch of different mints down there and some weeds that I didn't take out the pots. There's a whole bunch more stuff growing around here on my shelf. Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to go fast. There's some more avocados and stuff that are growing there. There's the poochie. Here's one. I forgot what this is called. Somebody gave that to me. Anyway. And there's begonia, and there's Chinese princess right there was another little pretty tree. There's some different cactuses and different things that I'm growing. Oh, this is a, what is this? This is a oaxalis. I love this one. Oaxalis, delicious. If you ever had honeysuckles as a kid, that's what this tastes like. These flowers are edible. Take them, and you don't look inside of them. Because if you look inside, you might see an ant. You don't want to see an ant. You just want to go ahead and eat it. Oh my gosh, that's so delicious. Oh, that's phenomenal. Look at that leaf. Look how pretty that is. You should grow oaxalis. They're perennials here. They'll grow like crazy. They'll come back year to year. You can look up there. I got a bunch of succulents and different stuff that I grew up there. This, by the way, this is my workshop. This is where I make a bunch of stuff. So I'm working on an arrangement right there, like a big old, I made a pot, basically made a concrete pot. It's got a big piece of driftwood that's embedded inside of it, and I grow things around it. So I've got like a little sedum that's spreading around the sides of it. What's back there? I forgot the name of that. Bromeliads. The bromeliads are back there. Got a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Plants over here. I think it's a rain tree, bougainvillea, more bougainvillea, all types of different, more succulents, and there's more bougainvillea. This is a big elephant ear. This is a taro, which, by the way, they're great to grow in the garden. You can actually, oh, this one's about to flower, which is really cool. You can actually eat those. People eat taros. I don't, but people do. I wouldn't recommend eating it unless you looked up a recipe. There's another little bougainvillea I'm growing out as a bonsai. Here's a tray of tomatoes I planted last time. So I took a bunch of these. I've already planted some in the ground. The rest of these guys are just starting to come up. These are the, I don't know what they are, Pollyanna tomatoes, open air pollinated. Here's some mints that are growing out of the channel. I don't know if you can see down into the channel, but those dudes are growing all across there. So the pepper is not doing too hot. It's a real hot day and the water shut down. And there's another tomato that's growing out of there. And I'm just gonna let them just grow. I mean, so what happens, it actually fills up. Oh, here's the aquaponics system. Anyway, here's the aquaponics. You can see it probably better from this side. This is like a little old system I had a long time ago. Down in the base there, I start cuttings and I float them in the trays. There's no fish in there because the water actually, I pump it up from downstairs where I have a bigger pond, and they're big koi in it. I think I've shown that pond before so you can see them, but there's the aquaponic grow bed. This is what it's supposed to look like. Totally grown out. I have no idea what's in here. I don't even know what half of this is, to be honest with you. This is some sort of a lettuce I planted. I had a whole bunch of old lettuce seeds. I threw a whole bunch in there, different varieties. This is a cucumber that's going nuts. Look at this thing. This thing is growing out, grabbing underneath the deck. This is what cucumber do. They got these little spiny attachments, and they pretty much attach to anything. I'm gonna see if I can. I don't want to damage the tip of it. I don't want to damage it. I'm not going to mess with it, but I need to pull it out and put it back in the sun. But there's a whole bunch of tomatoes down there growing. There's some bougainvillea, a whole bunch more cucumbers. And this is what I mean. I just let it overgrow. I'm not picky with my aquaponics. It does what it does, and it just grows like just ridiculously. Looks like there's tomatoes and stuff that are all hidden down here. Now, what I need to do, though, if I can step back, I actually need to stand this up. And this is what I'll do, and this is what I was showing you from the other side, is there's the top. And I'm basically going to just grow all of these up here. I did this I did this a couple years ago, or actually I didn't do it last year. I did the year before. And this is where I don't know if I ever told you, I had one tomato plant. I got like 60 tomatoes off of it, beefsteak. It was growing out of this really little system. That's why I'm saying with aquaponics, it doesn't taste much. And you see what that is right there? What does that look like? I don't even know what kind of tomato that is. It's a tomato. No, it's not actually, it's not a tomato. It's called lunch. It's supposed to do this. You take this and you see the spider I was just holding, got all that spider juice on my hands and the bacteria and stuff. Then you take this and you put it in your mouth. Oh, that's sweet. I know exactly what that is. That's the sun sugar. That's delicious. You see a little baby tomato, baby tomato. And so there's a whole bunch of that growing. I'll have to mess around with that system in a little later. I can't really mess around with it on the camera. But I've got Pilea and Scheffalera, and there's, what is that? Coleas and whatever. Another view of the aquaponic system. So you can see it's just a jungle in there. And this is probably one of the smallest grow beds I have. Oh, there's a sorrel. I don't know if you can recognize it. There's a sorrel. I'm actually doing an experiment to see if it actually grows in aquaponics. I told you there's a brother that makes a nice wine with it. There's the other side, the jaboticaba. I got some air plants just hanging on the jaboticaba. They're going to hang out there for the summer. But what I'm doing, I'm actually trying to see, because he's starting up a business growing sorrel, and I'm trying to see how well sorrel grows in aquaponics. I don't know if I can, oh, look at that. Look at a little tomato. Look, cucumbers everywhere. Everywhere I look, these little cucumbers are popping up. Little cucumbers. Making me hungry. I want to see if sorrel likes the aquatic environment. And one way to tell is when you pull it out, you can see if the roots are growing down into the grow bed, and it looks like they are. So initially, I'm going to say that, let me do this. Let me turn the camera around and we'll talk. I'm not even sure, where was I sitting over here? So, I'm just testing to see if it grows in aquaponics well. Aquaponics are the grow systems of the future. If you didn't ask somebody, you better ask somebody. They are the grow systems of the future because they're highly automatable. You can almost completely automate an aquaponic growing system. Like, to feed the world is not genetically modified seeds. Feeding the world is growing with aquaponics, utilizing very little grow space, but growing massive amounts. So the tomatoes I showed you in that aquaponic system, I think there might be about 5 or 6 tomatoes in there. I expect to get at least 300-400 tomatoes out of that system. And, you know, mind you, that grow bed, you saw it's very small. It's like 3 foot long by 2 feet. Very small grow bed. But that's the power. I've been doing aquaponics for a long time. I've built massive grow beds and I've built small ones. But on this deck, I don't have a whole lot of room, and so I'm just growing in a very small space. This actually is my workshop. So when I'm actually working and I got my workshop here, I want to be able to grow plants. And so I grow plants at home. I grow in my workshop. I grow them at my friend's house. Actually, I grow them at my mama's house. I took a whole bunch of pictures when I was down there. I'll share some with you. Lori said, "Got okra?" Hell no. Hell no. No okra. No okra. No okra. No. That video I did was an okra smoothie just to have. I can see the comments now, by the way. That was an okra smoothie video I did just to show people when you put together good things in a smoothie, you can drink anything. And so I put okras in that smoothie, but those okras came from the grocery store because you won't ever catch me growing okra. Okra is a slimy plant. It's a plant that just never should be grown. I don't know why people eat okra. My mother loves okra. I can't stand the okra. I mean, she might have forced it down my throat as a kid. I don't like okra. Lori's like, all right, shut up. Shut up, Gerard. You already said you don't like okra. I don't like no okra. But I drank an okra smoothie just to prove to people that you can make a good smoothie and drink whatever medicinals your holistic doctor tells you to drink if you do a decent smoothie with it. You don't have to choke them down. Do I sell excess produce? I don't sell the produce, Aslan. I give it away. So when I grow too much and I have too many tomatoes, if I don't have the time to like can them, I'll give them away. I'm a giveawayer. I'll give away the cucumbers. I always have too many cucumbers. I always have too many tomatoes because those are things I love to grow. I've never given away basil though. I'm a basil hater. You will never. You'll never get basil out of me because basil is easy, and I'll make what is that? I'm getting old and forgetting the name of things. I'll make my oh my goodness, I put it on pasta. I put it on sandwiches. I have basil. Y'all know what I'm talking about. What you make with basil? Um, I can't believe I forgot what I make with basil. Basil, oil. I put a little. Sometimes I cheat. I put a little cheese in there, but um, pesto, dummy. That's what it is. Pesto. Thank you, Elaine. I make a little pesto with it. So I never give away basil. Because you can't ever have enough pesto. You can't ever put pesto. You can never put too much pesto on anything. It's just not possible. Pesto, garlic, onions, especially you can put them on anything you want. All right, let me go back. I missed a whole bunch of comments. Let me see if I think y'all were commenting while I was kind of walking around it. Man, it's mosquitoes out here. I'm allergic to nuts. I'm allergic to nuts. No pesto for you. Okay, no pesto. Okay, well, but I'm a pesto person. I don't give away any pesto. I'll give away plants. I'll sell plants sometimes. I'll do stuff like that. But in terms of like what I try to do, I try to build up community, right? So I try to inspire my neighbors to grow. I'll go work in their gardens. I'll give them stuff because that's one. It's a good thing to do. It builds up community. So yeah. So I don't sell any food or anything like that. I give it away because it's just too easy. Like when you have an overabundance of food, it's just too easy. And plus it brings about like a little guilt too. When you give people stuff, they're like, oh, okay, they want to do something nice for you. And that's a good way to build up community. That's why I tell everybody the first plants you should grow. Grow your tomatoes, grow your peppers, grow your basil, grow your cucumbers. They're all easy to grow and you can give tons of them away. Gooseberries, I don't know anything about gooseberries. Like I said, I've never grown them before. It's the first time I've grown them. I'm growing a whole bunch of new stuff too. Like I said, I'm growing some new African herbs. I'm growing some Brazilian herb. I'm growing a few other things. When I see things, I get excited about it. I'll go out, find the seeds, and I'll like plant it. Like I posted a picture of there's a red bark cherry tree. A couple days ago, I posted the picture. It's beyond awesome. And I have a whole bunch of those guys growing. They just came up not too long ago. Yeah, you can make pesto without nuts. You know what I find out? You can make anything without anything. Anything without anything. Like if you're trying to eat less meat, but you love the texture of meat and you love like the flavor of whatever you're making, barbecue, whatever it is, try jackfruit. You can make jackfruit and it'll taste like anything. It absorbs the flavor of anything you put in it. So you can make anything taste like anything, but you have to try. Like, and this is why, we can't be lazy. Healthy eating. I'm a foodie. I love good food. I love me some good food. So if eating healthy sucked, I would not do it. I promise you that I would die early and I would be happy with that. I love good food and it's obvious to me when you eat fresh food, when you experiment with things and you cook and you're making your own smoothies and you're making your own dishes and pastas and things like that, you can make it taste exactly how you want it to taste. But you don't have to be a chef. You have to kind of explore and try different things. You can make like really delicious dishes special for you. Like one of the things the kids and I love is tomato pies. And we make a mean tomato pie. We can put all kind of things. Like we started with a base recipe. I don't even know where we got the recipe from. And we'll put anything in it. We'll just make tomato pies with basil, tomato. We put spinach in there and carrots. And sometimes we'll put some peppers or different things. Grind them all up in the food processor. Put them on a little pie sheet, and then on top of it. Now the topping's the bad part. The topping is the traditional. The recipe I started with, it was like mayonnaise and cheese, which is really horrible. But I turned that into mayonnaise, which I think is soy based. And sometimes I don't use any cheese at all. Sometimes I don't put a topping at all. I'll just cook it just like that. So sometimes I try to make it a lot healthier than what the recipe calls for. Sometimes I just put another pie sheet over top of it, or like a gluten-free wrap or something. But you play with it, you experiment with it, and the kids and I, we have fun. We'll go back and forth. They'll try this, they'll try that. They think they make the best tomato pies. They're lying if they ever say that. They don't make the best tomato. I make the best tomato pies. They don't make the best nothing. My son will tell you all the time, Daddy, your eggs suck. No, they don't. My eggs are delicious. But it's fun, and it kind of becomes a competition. I mean, you want to like improve the health of your family. Start making it a competition who can make the best tasting smoothie, and see what'll happen. Like kids, they love to be creative, but you got to give them fun things to be creative with. And you'll give them a life of good health just by like making a game and having a little fun with who can make the best eggs, who can make the best smoothie, who can make the best tomato pie, basic things like that. I saw a jackfruit at the Indian market today. I have to do research on how to prepare it. Go for it, Sandra. Girl, you're going to be hooked. I love jackfruit. I love dry jackfruit. I don't cook with it much, to be honest with you. It reminds me too much of meat. That's why. I've gone so far out of the meat area that when I eat things that kind of remind me of meat, I don't feel too good about it. So I like dry jackfruit. I'm actually growing a jackfruit. I can't show you because I don't have it here. My jackfruit is at home. I've got a jackfruit. I got 2 or 3 of them I'm growing. I know it sounds crazy, but I said I'll grow anything. I grow everything in pots. If I don't have it and somebody's got it, I'm going to do my best to kind of grow it. I don't know that I'll ever get any real big fruit. I don't think I want to. Jackfruit can be like 3 feet. Like, I think it's bigger than 3 feet. Like, if you look online for jackfruit, you can get some monstrous jackfruit. Love me some delicious vegan yummy food, layers of flavor. Yes, Gina, but people don't know that. Gina, people don't know how healthy food actually is. People have no idea when you eat healthy, how delicious it can be. But it involves you not being lazy. You have to go get the things that you like and mix them in the recipe and experiment. And you should grow some of those things so you're eating them fresh. Like as a kid, I used to hate peas. I couldn't stand no peas. Peas were the nastiest thing on the planet. And then one day I started growing sugar snap peas. And now the kids and I love sugar snap peas. When those suckers come up, they are sweet. They are sweet as sugar, and I love them to death. We had smoothies today at my daughter's, but they made my lips itchy because they had kiwis in them. Oh, okay. So maybe you're allergic to kiwis, and that's possible. You got to know what's in your fruit smoothie before you drink it. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the lady. I think she was a YouTuber. I think she just died recently. Somebody told me because she drank a smoothie with this. Dun, dun, dun. She drank a smoothie with aloe. And actually, I have friends who drink aloe smoothies. But I never have. I've never eaten aloe. Aloe is supposed to be healthy. But I think my biggest problem, because I grow a lot, I realize that there's no such thing as just an aloe. And first of all, there's no such thing as a tomato. There's no such thing. Let's be perfectly honest, just flat out raw. Every plant has different genetics, and every plant makes a slightly different compound. I've said it before that every plant makes a compound. Yes, to the best that we can study it. But at the atomic level and beyond, plants are always changing. They're always evolving their genetics. The mother plant's always handing down different genetics to the next one. Epigenetics is stuff we always talk about. So I know that aloe is a weird plant. I'll grow aloe, and it changes, and it looks weird. I'm kind of scared of aloe. I've probably got 2 or 3 different varieties of aloe. And when a guy told me, he's like, yeah, I drink aloe smoothies. And I was like, which one? And he's like, what do you mean, which one? I said, there are a lot of different types of aloe. He said, yeah, it's just aloe. My wife and I drink it. I'm like, okay, good luck with that. I'm not going to mess with it. There's some things I don't mess with because I'm not a botanist, but I'm a grower. I grow a lot. A lot of plants, like we say, all plants came out of the ocean, right? Some of them decided they liked these mammal things, and they started growing seeds and putting sugary coatings around them so the mammals would eat them, carry them somewhere, poop them out. Other plants were like, I don't want to have anything to do with y'all. Y'all suck. You're going to destroy the world. You're going to cause the next mass extinction. You're going to vote big banks in to run your world. Y'all are stupid. I ain't nothing to do with y'all. And those plants grew thorns. They grew poison. They got poison in their leaves, poison in their berries, so that they didn't want mammals to come anywhere near them. Unfortunately, a lot of the plants that don't want to have anything to do with mammals, that do not have a symbiotic relationship with mammals, are desert plants. For whatever reason, desert plants don't like us. It's racism. I can't tell you why, but the desert plants, they don't like our species. They don't have nothing to do with us. So I'm hesitant. Like, somebody comes to me like, "Oh, you can eat these succulents." I'm like, "Yeah, you can. All right, you're gonna salt them up? You eat them right in front of me? Okay, good luck with that. You can go ahead and eat them. I'm not gonna mess with it." So I don't drink any aloe smoothies, but I do use aloe everywhere. Like, I'm gonna be using some aloe tonight because there's mosquitoes out here eating me up. I got sweet blood. Yes, granddaughter gets burns if she touches aloe vera. Right. And this is why I'm saying that there's 7 billion different types of human beings. And this is why I never get lost in any hubris of telling anybody what to do when it comes to medicine, anything else. I'll leave that up to your doctor. You can ask your doctor if you want to. I don't ask my doctor. I don't have a doctor. I told them to go stick it somewhere a long time ago because I'm not interested in percentages of what their chemical medicine does to me. I'm not a percentage. We're all different. Something that may heal somebody else might kill you. And if this YouTuber just read in a book somewhere, "Oh yeah, well, you can drink aloe smoothie, is healthy." They'll take it, they'll throw it in the smoothie, drink a whole bunch of it and die. That surprises a lot of people. Doesn't surprise me at all. I grow enough plants and that does not surprise me at all. If somebody says this is healthy, if they say this is a banana, I feel like eating another stevia leaf though. I'm gonna eat this another stevia leaf because I gotta trim this back anyway. Somebody comes to me and they're like, "You know what, man? You should eat this stevia leaf, brother. It'll save your life. It's medicinal." I'm gonna say, "Uh-huh," and they'll say, "Okay, well, you eat a whole bush of it." I'm not gonna eat no whole damn bush. Well, you eat the whole plant. I'm not gonna eat the whole plant. You tell me that this is medicinal, I'm gonna take a little bit. I'm gonna, that does taste good. I ain't gonna eat the rest of it though. I'm gonna eat it and I'm gonna wait and see what happens. Like, I found a variety of mulberry growing in my yard, and I could have went out to the tree and I could have ate a whole bunch of them like a fool, and I could have got really sick. Mulberry for me could be extremely medicinal, and it could be very beneficial to the microbiology of my body and the cells in my body. But if my body hasn't been eating it on a regular basis, its first reaction is going to be like, "What the hell is that? What did you just put in me?" And it might be some gas, might be some diarrhea, might be me dying. So my point is, go slow, right? Go slow, especially if you've been eating like a traditional Western diet. You've been eating crap. Your body actually is attuned to eating crap. Don't tomorrow say, "I'm going to be vegan." Just go do it all tomorrow. Bad idea. Go slow. Mescal and tequila are made with desert plants. Yeah, a lot of things are. So I'm not saying, Kyria, that there are no medicinal desert plants. I mean, human beings survive in the desert and they eat a lot of desert plants. I'm just saying that a lot of the plants that didn't want to have anything to do with mammals, and they made poisonous fruits and spines, and because there were less mammals in the desert environment, there's less everything in the desert environment. Not as many of them evolved medicinal and non-poisonous things as methodically as the tropicals. That's kind of my point with that. So I'm not saying, don't eat desert plants, don't eat succulents. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there weren't a lot of mammals in the desert. That's what I'm saying. And take it for what it, take that for what it is. But eating smoothies it's not something I do. And plus, have you ever sniffed a large aloe plant? Has anybody ever sniffed it? I've got a monster aloe plant. I have to show you one day. It's like 4 feet tall. It's monster aloe. Stinks horribly. I won't even rub that on me. Like, when I pick from that aloe plant, I picked it once and I was like, "What the hell is that smell?" I was like, "Oh my gosh." It's like somebody farting. I'm trying to think, did I have some gas or something? I don't know about it, because you get old, sometimes it just slips out. You don't know it was you. It's like, "Oh my goodness." It was the aloe. And I did not like that scent. And because I didn't like it, that's enough information for me to know that I really don't want to mess with it in terms of drinking it. Usually, you want to try, and this is why I get back to trust your body. Always trust your body. If your body says that smells nasty, don't eat it. Don't touch it. And that gets back to anaerobic water versus aerobic water, right? Like, what is the gag reflex? When you drink, when you sniff anaerobic water, when you sniff eggs or something rotten, you have that gag reflex. You know what that is? That's the microbiology in your stomach telling your brain that you just ate something that might kill you. Get rid of it. And that's why things aerobic tend to smell well or not have a scent at all. Things that are anaerobic, we tend to have a gag reflex because that's, you have a symbiotic relationship with the flora and fauna. And what they're saying is, I need to save you stupid human's life. Stupid human just drank some rancid water, or stupid human just ate some rancid beef, or stupid human. I say stupid human a lot. I probably shouldn't say that. Special human just put something in us that's going to kill all us. And so I'm going to save the human from killing us and make it vomit. So when I smell the big aloe, I had like this almost gag reflex. I won't mess with it. I'll put it on my body all day long whenever I need it. But in terms of putting it in my mouth, I don't think that's ever going to happen. Animals avoid food with lectins. So should humans, but I love my potatoes. Well, and the thing with that, Ivana, too, is that's up to you. That's up to you. In the dark ages, there were people who you can develop a tolerance to a thing, right? Like eating things in small doses, you're retraining your body to process it. In the dark ages, they used to take small doses of, I'm going to say it's strychnine, whatever the poison is, one of the popular poisons, and they would take it in small dose, small dose, small dose, small dose, and eventually, their body would develop. It's not immunity to it, but it's the ability to break it down and destroy it before it kills the human. And I believe that's the cytotoxic T cell. Somebody could tell me if I'm wrong, but I think it's the white blood cell, the cytotoxic T cell, that breaks those things down. And so you can develop an immunity for it, for almost anything, things that you like to eat, but smaller doses is definitely safer. Lori said starches are good. I've heard it back and forth, Lori, both ways. Dr. Sebi was no big fan of starches, but that might just be, his relationship with them. I think it had to do with hybrids. I haven't studied a whole lot down that avenue, but his studies, and he wasn't a doctor. Let's to clarify, he wasn't like a doctor, but they called him Dr. Sebi. So his point was hybrids make more starches, and so he taught that we should eat electric foods and we should avoid starches because starches tend to come from hybrids, and hybrids tend to have, theoretically, hybrids aren't as healthy as heirlooms. Heirlooms are older genetics, right? They're stable. Hybrids, they're constantly flipping their genetics. That's why if you plant the seed of a hybrid, you'll get something different. It doesn't have stable genetics, and so it can create things that can be harmful. And so I think that's kind of that thought process. I eat starches. I eat French fries, things like that. I like them. But then I eat a jelly donut every now and then. You might even catch me with a Twinkie in my mouth. I'm not don't ever eat anything unhealthy. I'm not that person. I eat healthy things as much as possible, and I understand that the human body can withstand a lot of abuse. And so I live my life, but I try not to live it too ignorantly. Same thing with like living in the Western countries. You support slavery. You do. Get used to it. You support forced labor and you support war every day, getting up out of bed and just breathing in air. So you're never going to get away from it. But the human body can take a lot of abuse, right? And it's just it's an acceptance that, as long as you're eating as healthy as you can, as long as you're supporting these slave-based big corporations and business class, the less you support it, the better. Everything in proportion, exactly, Lori. And so I try to keep that in mind. I'm glad you said that. Like I like to keep in mind that none of us really know it all. We know very little. And as mammals crawling across this planet, we ate everything. We ate everything we came across until we learned things were bad to eat, and our body, learn the ways to recognize the things, maybe through the gag reflexes, what we should and should not eat, what's healthy and what makes us sick. And so we munched on pretty much everything. So we did munch on some starches. But I think depending on where you are or where you're from, whatever genetics you have, some people probably are better at processing starches than others. So that's a consideration too. I'm run over with aloe vera. Yes, Christy, because aloe vera grows like crazy. It grows like nut balls. I mean, when it gets going, it's going. You know, I've got an aloe I've got to propagate. It's probably got about 30 plants in this, like a pot about this size, very little pot. But it doesn't care. It will grow like a little aloe bush if you let it and don't propagate it. Propagating is real easy. This is why that's another good one to grow. I'm glad you said that, Christy. People should grow aloe. Add that to your grow list because it's a friend plant. It's a friendly plant. I think if I can give it a name, I would call it a community plant, right? Because when you grow aloe, you get tons and tons and tons of aloe. And when you divide them up, you can't possibly grow them. So it's just like tomatoes, cucumbers, anything else. You start giving them away. You go to your neighbor, you start giving them aloe plants. They become thankful. You know, they give you a Christmas card. You know, you go over on their birthday, they give you a hug. You go over the next day, next thing y'all married, got kids. No, I won't go that far. You know, but it's a community plant. You know, I'll put that in the list of, you know, building community plants. Plants where if you grow them, you'll have so much of an abundance that sharing becomes the default. And when we share with other people, that's when we start going back to what we used to be, away from these little ignorant collect money creatures, and we become that communal sharing things with. I have a mosquito on my head, dagnabbit. I felt something itchy. I get scared, man. I'm scared of mosquitoes. I don't mess around no mosquitoes. A dear friend gifted me aloe plants. Yes, Emmy. Yes, and it's a wonderful thing. You get it, and it's addictive. I think one other property was like spider plants. It's just a plant that keeps giving and giving and giving and giving, and you never know what you'll turn people onto. You know, like kids. I try to give kids plants every time I see them. I always try to give kids plants because you never know, like, who you'll inspire. By getting them going back to doing things human beings always used to do. Water. Water is important. Y'all see me every now and then. I got my jug of water. Drink lots of water. Lots of water. We are hydrogen creatures and there's so much to water. I just want to grow food, feed people, and rescue animals. Kelly, and you should. And we have to get back to a society and a world where people can do the things that they love. Because when people do the things that they love more. They have more love. Absolutely. Our orange and lemon trees are wonderful. Many neighbors enjoy. Yes, Angela, that's another good one. Unfortunately, my orange and my lemon trees, they grow in pots because it's too cold here in Pennsylvania. So I got to bring them in the spring. I guess I probably have about 30, maybe 30, 40, 50. I don't know. I don't keep counting. I got tons of them. I'm a little bit of a nut. My house is like a jungle. Come fall, like I bring all my plants in. Like I literally showed you 10% of the plants I have. Maybe 10%. But I bring them all in and the kids help me. It's like this big event bringing all dad's plants in. It's like, Dad is a nut job. You know, you could barely get in the house. You're like bending down, moving around the plants. But I like healthy food. I live in a cold environment, and plus I use lemons for deodorant. That's another whole long discussion. Deodorant is a bad one. Y'all want to get away from deodorant. If you use deodorant, make sure there's no aluminum in it. And I think someone told me a long time ago. They said try citrus for deodorant, and I gave it a shot. I'm hooked. I've used lemons for my deodorant for the past probably 3 years of my life. Because they work that well. And so it sounds weird. I know. Where's my coffee at? It sounds weird, but it's an antibacterial. But it's a natural antibacterial. Where does funk come from? Funk comes from bacteria. If you put an antibacterial under your arms, it kills all the funk. But not only that, it's not a chemical killing of it. And it's not introducing aluminum to your bloodstream and causing other problems with your body. It's allowing your body to fight that bacteria naturally. And I'm kind of guessing, this is my theory. I'm not going to pretend that I know. I don't know this, but this is what I think. It wouldn't make any sense that we could evolve and walk all over this planet smelling the way that we do. You know, I think about how bad you smell after like a really hard day's worth of work, after a day, because hopefully you do take a bath after that day. Imagine if you only ran into water every once a week, once a month. What did Queen Elizabeth say? She said, Queen Elizabeth, she said, I always make it a thing to take a bath once a month, whether I need it or not. And it was like her thing. She was trying to get the people in the community to bathe more. And so she was trying to get everybody to bathe at least once a month. Anytime you don't feel blessed to live in the society you do, you are blessed. Just think about that. But how in the world would we evolve if we actually evolved? Oh man, I just got a bug in my ear. That was crazy. That was crazy. How in the world could we evolve running around in the jungle smelling like funk? It's not possible. Every creature on this planet would have smelled us coming. The tigers, the lions, and the bears would have ate us a long time ago. So we manufacture something that limits the funk of your underarms. What I think, my theory is, whatever's in deodorant, it stops the production of whatever that is. Because when you wear deodorant, you got to put it on every day when you wear chemical deodorant, or every other day. When I started using lemons, I could go a day without. Then I could go 2 days without. My limit's probably about three days before my body stops producing or stops fighting it to a degree where I'm like, oh yeah, we can't do this. But I ran some tests. This is how I know. When your body goes back to producing whatever that natural enzyme or whatever it is, your body works how it's supposed to. And you don't need their chemicals. And so whatever aluminum does in the bloodstream, you actually don't have to worry about. So a lot of this being healthy, it's not just about eating healthy foods, but it's about not rubbing things on your skin that you wouldn't put in your mouth. Like that actually is the bottom line, because your skin it is a protective barrier, but it's a mesh, right? It's a mesh. And whatever you put on it that can hurt it, it actually spreads, opens up, and ingests to let it go into your bloodstream so your immune system can kill it or destroy whatever it is. It's how the skin cells stay alive. So when you put this chemical lotion and shampoos and soaps and all these things, the reason they go into your bloodstream so fast is because your skin is like, oh, hell no. When you rub it on, your skin is like, oh, hell no. We need to send that to the immune system to process that mess. And it made perfectly good sense when we were creatures running around in the swamp, because your body knew how to break down most of that. Nothing unnatural, no chemicals touched your skin. So this is why when you rub these chemical soaps and lotions on you, this is why they go into your bloodstream so fast, and they make it to your heart, your brain. And this is where a lot of these diseases come from. So this is why I'm saying I like lemons. I like lemons for deodorant. Although something weird, you try lemon, Cindy, but the weird thing, and I don't know why this is, but you know the little fake lemon? Y'all know you go to the grocery store, you get the little fake lemon. It's a little plastic lemon. It looks like a lemon. It's got lemon juice in it. Lemon juice doesn't work, or it doesn't work for me. I don't know why. If I take a real fresh lemon, it works how it's supposed to. But the lemon juice, and I'm not sure if that's lemon juice, they might be lying on it, but that does not work at all. Yes, your skin is the largest organ of your body. It is. Your skin is absolutely an organ. People think it's this protective barrier, and it is to a degree. But for the most part, your skin is going to protect itself from toxins by introducing them inside of into your body. That's why when you look at the studies, there was a study on BPA receipts, that you get from stores. And they say after holding the receipt, after it was like 5 minutes, they tested the girl and she already had BPA in her bloodstream, because that's how it works. Don't ever think things don't go through your skin. I use watered down Castile soap. Castile soap is good. Natural soap, the soil soaps, the soaps based in essential oils, things like that. You definitely want to move over to an organic soap, a natural soap. Organic if you can get it, but definitely natural. How do you think the nicotine and patchwork? Exactly. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Georgia. Thank you. That's exactly because they got a bunch of drugs now that are based in patches. You just put the patch on. How do you think they work? It's because your body is like, oh hell no, send that into the bloodstream so the immune system can deal with it. And that's exactly what happens. Use borax to kill fleas on pets and rugs. Okay. I don't have any. I used to have cats. Long story. I don't have cats again. I won't. It was, I love a girl and she wanted a kitty and I got her a kitty and one kitty turned to two kitties turned to three kitties. Next thing I know, I had fleas and they were biting me. Couldn't go in the living room. It got crazy. This is before you had that little collar thing you can put on, the little squirt thing you put on their neck and it stops the fleas. And the next thing you know, I had to throw the sofa away. I had to throw the carpet away. I had to throw the kitchen. Everything. I threw it. Then I moved. I'm done. I love cats. They're so cute, though. I'm a cat person. I'm a yo cat person. I love your cats. I do. I look at the pictures all day long. Like, oh, it's so pretty. I love the kitty. You want one? No, I don't want one. I'm good. I don't need a kitty. The pasteurized lemon juice kills all the good stuff. Yeah, and I'm not sure if that's what's in that little plastic bottle, if it's pasteurized or not. But lemons are good for, I mean, they're an antibacterial. That's in like your kitchen cleaners and stuff. You want them to be all natural. You want them to be lemon. You don't want to take a bunch of chemical cleaner, and rub it on your surfaces, on your countertops in your kitchen. And the reason why is because later somebody's going to come along and put their hands on that countertop. Food is probably going to touch that countertop. The only chemical cleaners I have in my house, I use for the bathroom. There might be some old cleaners I have in my garage. But as far as like chemical cleaners, I don't let them in the house at all. The bathroom, that's a different story. I got 3 boys. I'm a little scared. So I do have chemical cleaners in the bathroom. I use gloves when I actually use that. But as far as the kitchen and all the other surfaces in the house, they're all natural cleaners. They actually do better than the chemical cleaners, and they won't kill you. I use coconut and olive oil in my skin. I love coconut oil in my skin. Sandra, actually, I make my own lotion. I make my own lotion from shea and coconut oil, and I love it. I love it. I'm addicted to it. It's perfect. It keeps my skin nice and hydrated most of the day. It's all natural. I love the scent of shea butter, and I love the scent of coconut. What do I think of pistachio nuts? I like pistachio nuts. I eat pistachio nuts. I can't say I know anything about like medicinal from a pistachio nut perspective. We can talk about theory, Angela, and just the fact that we can eat them. I think they're delicious. We can eat them, so it means 9 times out of 10 we evolved eating them. So they're a good thing to eat. Anything that you eat that doesn't like make you sick, doesn't kill you, it's something that your body knows how to process. So it's a good thing to eat. My son loves pistachio nuts. I like them. I won't say that I love them. But that gets back to the whole thing. Are they medicinal? I don't think that anything's medicinal. Let me give you this theory. No, I don't think anything's medicinal. I don't really believe in. I know I said a minute ago, I said I got medicinal tomatoes. What I'm saying is that we either evolved to eat it or we didn't. We call it medicinal because we no longer eat it anymore. And so your body is like waiting to get it. And when you get it, it's like magic, that compound that your body needs to heal the cancer or do something that it couldn't do. And so we think it's magic. We call it medicinal. And really, it's not. It's just that we stopped eating it. And when you go back to eating what you're supposed to eat, your body heals. And so I don't think it's medicinal. I think it's all just food, and we forgot what food is. Oh, thank you, Sister George. You love me. I love you too. I have a good vibe. Thank you. I think we all should try to have good vibes. And I can't say I know that I have a good vibe. I think information is free. And so I'll teach anybody anything that I know. I'll give you all the information I got for free. I won't charge you for it because that's what we're supposed to do. We're one big family. Which is why people get on me. They start saying, why are you defending the white nationalists? Like I said, what have they done to me? All the white nationalists I know, none of them tried to put me in prison. None of them tried. Uh-oh, somebody's trying to call me. All the white nationalists I know, none of them done me any wrong. They haven't done anything to me. You know, I got a friend in the KKK. What has he done to me? He sent me a blues video, which I thought was pretty cool. A lady playing a harmonica. You know, but there are other groups have done a lot of harm to me. A lot of groups that like to put people who look like me in prison a lot. I won't go into the details. So, you know, I think we should give everybody a chance. That's what I think. I think that history, a lot of bad things happen in history because we were in a lot of bad places and we all did a lot of stupid, dumb things probably. We probably all said a lot of stupid, dumb things. And it got us all into some really bad spots. And so when I meet somebody, Georgia, I let them show me who they are. I'm not going to let the Democrats tell me who they are. I'm not going to let the Republicans. I'm not going to let anybody out of any ignorant place tell me who Jim Bob is. That's an example. You know, I'm going to let him tell me who he is. Everybody is different. You know, like even the word Democrat. Just because you know one Democrat, you don't know all of them. Because you know one liberal, you don't know all of them. You know one Republican, you don't know all of them. Because your politician tells you that the Republicans are this. They don't know. There's a lot of damn Republicans out there. They know all of them? No, they don't. You know, and so that's the vibe I try to put down, is I just let people be who they are. And I don't judge them for who they are. I let them be who they are. Some people I vibe with, some people I don't. But the friends I have who say they used to be white nationalists, or they don't bother me. I don't bother them. I look at their posts. I agree with a lot of their posts, and it makes sense. You know, if you're okay with me living in peace, I'm okay with you living in peace. I don't care what you think. That's my vibe. My vibe is I'm going to let you be you. I'm going to let you do you. I think that you became who you are for some very good reasons, and I'm not going to judge those reasons. You know, as long as it's peaceful, I'm all good with everybody. Watching from Canada. Hey, Linda from Canada. Canada's a beautiful place. Oh, you know what? One of my heroes is in Canada, Linda. I want to say it's in the western part. It's a gentleman. He's a citrus grower. He lives in Canada. He actually built a greenhouse on the side of his house where he somehow uses geothermal heating to heat his greenhouse. And he's got like these big, massive citrus trees in a greenhouse attached to his house. I forgot his name, but it was very inspirational. I was watching one of his videos. He was talking about it. I got a couple friends in Canada. I got a couple friends. Man, it's cold up there too. I have a couple friends who have aquaponics systems in their basement, or at least one guy. You can grow a lot in Canada. Don't ever let the cold fool you. Don't let the cold ever push you away from growing. You know, there are a lot of great, really cold growing systems where you can get away with lowering your plant zone, like jalapenos. One of my big loves in life is jalapenos. I actually want to have a big jalapeno garden, and I want to grow tropicals in a cold environment, like here, Pennsylvania. I have the land, I don't have the time. I have a lot of friends who have land, like, grow whatever you want. Literally thousands of acres. Eventually I want to grow some hemp or something, but everything takes time. Everything takes time, and I don't have a whole lot of it. Oh, dag nabbit, the mosquitoes are stalking me. Which, by the way, I hate mosquitoes, but even mosquitoes have a natural place in this whole crazy system, right? The mosquitoes bite the dog. The dog bites you. The dog's or bites somebody else. That their immune system has the I don't say the knowledge, it's not the right thing, has the ability to fight certain things. And so you're sharing blood with other mammals, and when mosquitoes are spreading, every time you come in contact, like this banana right here, I'm just touching it. Literally, my skin is picking up DNA from this banana right now, and it's picking and choosing what information it wants to keep and what information it doesn't. So we actually learn. And that was a French study. It was a French study. It was involving GMOs, where they learned that everything you touch that's biological, that DNA data is exchanged between everything that's touching. And so that's how we share information. So I hate mosquitoes. I'm not saying go out and get bit by mosquitoes. Not saying that at all. But even mosquitoes have a place, right? Everything has its place. And this is like my biggest thing with people destroying the environment. Like, we don't understand the environment. How does it make any sense that we destroy something we don't even understand? It's just stupid. We don't know the relationship between any of these things. As much as I don't like mosquitoes, y'all see me rubbing my legs. I don't want mosquito bites on me. And actually, coconut. Usually in the spring, I'll make like a big shea butter coconut lotion, and coconut oil actually hides you from the mosquitoes. For some reason, mosquitoes don't like the coconut, or they can't smell you through the coconut. But I mix coconut with shea. I'll see them flying around me, but they won't land on me. But everything has a place. Let's not destroy the environment. We don't know the place of any of this. Growing lavender in your garden will deter some of the mosquitoes. Yes, lavender, and what's the other one? There are a bunch of them. There are a bunch of plants that have very strong scents. I think it's how it works, and it hides you from the mosquitoes. Citronella. There are a lot of great mosquito plants. Dragonfly larvae feeds on mosquito larvae. Somebody said it just went away. Thank you for that. And this is what I tell people to put a garden pond in. They always want to say, I don't want to put a garden pond. It's going to bring mosquitoes. That's not how it works, silly people. When you put a garden pond in, it brings the dragonfly. The dragonfly eats the mosquito. Dragonfly larvae almost exclusively eat only mosquitoes. Put a little light on the pond. Get your frogs. Your frogs will come. They'll sit outside under the light all day, all night long, and eat mosquitoes. When you put a garden pond in, you'll have less mosquitoes, not more. A house I used to live at, we had 6 ponds at one time. The more ponds we put in, the less mosquitoes we had. Initially, going out in the backyard, you couldn't even stand outside. It was so bad. The mosquitoes were everywhere. But when we started I put in the first pond, and we loved it. That got exciting. We built a patio around it. It's like, yeah, but it's not enough sound. So we put a waterfall on that pond, and it was cool. Then we wanted to put a stream on the pond, so we put a stream on the pond. And then the pond was at the top of the hill. You're like, we don't walk up to the top of the hill to see the pond. So we put a pond at the base of the deck so you could look out the kitchen window and see the koi in the pond. And that turned into kids wanted to make another pond. Kids wanted to make a pond, so the kids made a pond. It turned into wanting to have like the waterfall sound by the bedroom. So I built a pondless waterfall by the bedroom. And it's waking up in the morning and hearing trickling water. It's amazing. But all of those aquatic systems and all the frogs that came, the toads laid eggs in the pond because toads need the water. The toads would sit in the garden. They'd eat bugs off the plants. The frogs would sit in the water. The frogs would have tadpoles. The tadpoles would eat the mosquito larvae. Like it's a natural relationship. It's an ecosystem. You want to grow organically. You want to have a safe backyard, lots of mosquitoes. Don't call your township and say, bring a mosquito truck. That's stupid. You'll get cancer. Just put a garden pond in. Most of our houses before we lived here and we destroyed the environment to bring in clay to put in a stupid box wooden house that's off-gassing and killing everybody. Most of these places, they had rivers and streams and swamps. They had all of the natural predators of all of the bad things. Like that's the reason mosquitoes thrive in your neighborhood is they evolved to be some bad mother hubbas. They can actually hang out in places where there's almost no water and lay eggs under leaves in your deck. And they thrive in really bad environments. I mean, those mosquitoes have been here since the beginning. They were here with the dinosaurs. So they know what they're doing. There's some bad mothers. They've adapted the ability to survive almost anywhere. And that's why in your community, you'll have mosquitoes if you don't have garden ponds. Put in a garden pond. Because the mosquitoes can't resist it. They can lay eggs under a leaf, but they don't want to. They want to lay eggs in the water. And when they go lay eggs in the water, the tadpoles, the mosquito larvae, and the other insects in the water, and the fish will just come eat them. And you won't have mosquitoes. It actually is that simple. The solutions we have in our world are actually very simple. And the reason they're very simple is because someone already solved them. That's why we observe nature. All of our ancestors all just sat around and looked at nature and found a solution for everything. Nature solved everything over billions and billions of years. And even our social problems and our, governments and all of this nonsense, these problems were already solved. Otherwise, we wouldn't still be here. Geckos here 9 months out of the year. Yeah, geckos. And Lori, I had geckos. Where was I? I was in Belize. I was hanging out in Belize with a good friend. And I'd go to sleep at night. I had geckos and lizards climbing on the walls. It was the craziest thing in the world to me. I was like, I'm going to sleep here as a damn lizard on the wall. But after a while, I realized, there's no tarantulas in here. There's no tarantulas and poisonous things and very few mosquitoes because there's geckos crawling everywhere, keeping them at bay. So the gecko and I became good friends. Is it possible even the best, what we don't like the fleas, even animals, mosquitoes, all have a place in astral world, which we don't think of us spoiled like that? And guessing what a lot of the creatures and bugs have a little jobs, but in the whole scheme of things have a big vital role to the ecosystem. Exactly, Brother Daniel. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble even reading. Might be me. Maybe I need some more coffee. My eyes getting bad too. Everything has a place. I think everything has a place but us. Everything has a place. Everything, there's an order to everything but us. We are the only creature that don't do our jobs. Even fleas have a job. I don't know what they are. I hate me some fleas. And I can guess about what mosquitoes' jobs are. But they do. And until we figure out all the relationships or how all this stuff is interrelated and how we are dependent and we need on it, like there's probably nothing more important than the fact that we are in the sixth major extinction of our time. And every day, I forgot how many, is it like dozens of species now? Multicellular creatures, let alone the bacteria and the ecosystems we're destroying everywhere else, are going extinct. We have no idea. We are literally collapsing the ecosystem around the earth. And this is why I'm saying that Trump didn't collapse the ecosystems. People want to start fighting and crying over Trump. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me, people. Like, do you realize we are collapsing our environment? Both political parties. Putting in another moron from either political party is stupid. And I don't want to say moron. That's rough. That's tough. Putting in someone else that's going to kill the dolphins, kill the bees, kill the birds, kill the microbiology, kill the polar bears, kill everything else is not a good idea. That's really stupid. We need to focus on the big problems we have. We literally got a big polar bear sitting in the freaking living room called extinction. And you're mad because a mosquito just bit you and you want me to get off the sofa and go get you some shea butter. And it's a polar bear sitting in the, there's an elephant in the damn room. And it boggles my mind. And that's probably why I do a lot of this. We got to learn how to prioritize problems. They all have a place. We just don't always know. Right, Lord? We don't know. We should act like we don't know. Let's literally say we don't know. And then let's literally act like we don't know. That's why I used to say in these videos a lot. I would say, don't try to convince me you know something you couldn't possibly know. We don't know. Let's not try to convince each other that we actually do know. Let's just leave it alone. These are the things that we don't know. But what we do know is we're dependent on this ecosystem. So let's leave it alone. That's my stance. My yard always has a bunch of dragonflies because we allow the grass to grow longer than other people and leave areas of clover and dandelions to grow at certain less visible from the road. Certain less visible from the road areas. We sometimes let go natural. Yeah, and that's a good thing to do, Deborah. It is a very good thing to do. Let the ecosystem come back. That's how you know you have a healthy garden and a healthy yard. If you see toads hopping around, you see dragonflies, you hear birds tweeting and everybody coming, then you got some good stuff happening there. When I go to friends' houses and they try to convince me that they're growing organically and naturally, it's like, oh, I got things going. Things will be really pretty. But if I don't see any dragonflies, I don't see any birds chirping, flying around, I don't see no toads and frogs hopping in the grass and nothing, and I realize there's something in this yard that's not supposed to be here. You're using some Miracle Grow or some pesticides or something, because this is not an ecosystem. A garden is an ecosystem. A healthy garden is an ecosystem. When you go dig your hand in the soil, you should see white fungi gripping together the humus layers of the soil. That's healthy. You should see worms. That's healthy. When you go to most farms where that they grow all of our produce and you dig in that, all you get is a handful of clay and cow poop. You don't see any fungi. There's no microbiology. They're growing in cow crap and clay. And that's just not healthy. That's not an ecosystem. That is like a recipe for a disaster. Stop buying Monsanto. They kill everything. Roundup, Miracle Grow. Exactly. Monsanto is and Eileen, I try to be fair. Like, I think that there are a lot of great people who work for Monsanto. But the problem is that organization has already taken its model is selling poison and putting poison in food. If Monsanto gets to exist in the new world, it has to exist helping human beings. Like, I don't think there should be any corporations that thrive on making human beings sick. I think that that's stupid. I think if your product is listed with the World Health Organization as a suspected carcinogen, you should not be selling a damn thing. And this is why I sell, like I was talking about this morning, a friend of mine calls Trump traitor, traitor Trump. Is Trump a traitor? Let me just say, I'll ask the question another way. Name a political party that does not poison your food. That will tell you who the traitors are and who they aren't, right? Because you have people who turn on you and they sell your kids chemical food. They allow chemical companies to put carcinogens in your food, in your grocery store, and in your kids' lunch. If that's not a traitor, I don't know what it is. So I don't really focus on whether or not Trump is a traitor. What I do know is the groups, the political parties that all the politicians tend to work for, they've already turned on the American people and they don't give a damn. And not only that, but they're doing the best that they can to poison Canada. They're doing the best they can to push because they're paid to. Don't we have sanctions? I don't want to say that we do, because it wasn't sanctions, it was something else that some country in Europe, because they wouldn't grow genetically modified seeds, we actually sent congressmen over there to threaten them with whatever it was if they actually didn't allow for the planting of genetically modified food. And how insane is that? It's insanity. It's just not. So it's not even about whether a president is a traitor. It's about whether or not all of the politicians work for traitorous organizations that not are only turning their back on human beings in America, but they're turning their back on human beings all over this planet and not utilizing safety, but promoting sickness and then crying about healthcare is too expensive, right? Like, they don't even hide it anymore. It's just silly to me. No, Monsanto not Monsanto came out weird. Oh, okay. No, I meant fleas and skeeters. Yeah, I can't stand skeeters. I haven't heard someone call it skeeters in a while, Lord. When you say skeeters, you make me think of Arkansas. Man, Arkansas got some big mosquitoes. Well, I used to go down to Arkansas, come back with like big boils and swell. They have bugs down there. I don't even know. They're aliens or something. They got big skeeters down there. Watch out when you have cicadas around, because copperheads will certainly be nearby. A delight to eat. A delight to eat for them. Oh, okay. I've never seen a copperhead. I remember in Arkansas, there were a lot of cicadas. In fact, in Maryland, there were cicadas. They used to make all that real loud noise. And then they do something weird. Don't they like bury themselves for 7 years or something like that and come back out? Crazy bugs. Aliens, man, I'm telling you. Yeah, now it's owned by Bayer, right? Monsanto got bought by Bayer, and aren't they, Deborah, talking about changing their name to something else? They're going to call them name, they're going to Juicy Fruit. They're going to change their name to Healthy and Delicious. Monsanto's going to change its name to something else, so people will forget about them for probably 10 years. And then people start dying again, eating their genetically modified food. I'm not going to forget the name. I'm waiting on a new name. I want to know what the new name is so I can attach demon to the back end of that, and I won't forget. I think they really don't realize the harm they do. A lot of politicians, they live in a vacuum. I agree with you, Lori. And so I don't hate on the politicians at all. I don't think that people in these corporations realize it either. I think they're people who work for Monsanto and the pharmaceutical companies, the chemical companies, and they just buy into it. I was one of them. I used to work in the pharmaceutical industry. I bought into all of it and I didn't question it. So I absolutely can say that there are politicians that mean well, but they're just in organizations that won't let them do well. Like people working for Monsanto, they mean well in the pharmaceutical industry, but we don't force those corporations to do well. And so they can do harm because it's cheaper to do harm than to do good. Let me see. If the bugs won't eat the veggies, I won't eat them. Exactly, Stephanie. And that's like a good judge of what something healthy is. If the bugs don't want to eat it, you shouldn't eat it either. McDonald's burger in the back of your card. If fungus doesn't want to eat it, microbiology and bacteria don't touch it, It's not food. Don't eat that crap. And plus, it's important to have bugs in your garden anyway. And that's why I like an ecosystem. Like we talk about, the most plants make compounds based on the bugs that land on them, because every plant on the planet has its pesticide. And that's like the biggest screw about growing plants with pesticides. You actually don't need it. If the plant is healthy and it's in healthy soil, it will make its own pesticide. It will deter that bug. Grown in the environment it's supposed to, the one it evolved in, or it will release a gas that cause a predator insect to eat that. And so when you grow plants open air like that, where bugs land on them in an actual ecosystem, the plants make the compounds and the gases that they need to fight off and call the other bugs that they need to, which dry up in that plant that you eat, that your body needs. And that's a lot of plants. That's the medicinal portion of it. And it's especially cannabis. That's why cannabis makes the oil that it does, because it's actually a desert plant. It's not a tropical plant. It is a desert plant. And it evolved to make oils that actually hold in the moisture. And so it produces that when it's grown in its natural environment, when it dries out. And it's funny to me, a lot of cannabis growers, they don't even seem to know these things, that, when you go through that drying phase, that's when it's cranking the oil out. Really hot, dry times, that's when you're going to get a major production out of your cannabis plants. But they force the growing of that plant so deep underground that like all sense of botany has been lost with it, which is just insanity. And that's just another rape of the modern world, rape of the natural world, war on nature, which is, the war on drugs, which needs to come to an end. Let me see. If there are no worms in the cherries, it's no good. Usually there was a time I bit into a peach. I got my first exposure to like the worms in peaches. It was a special one, but they're supposed to be there. Why? How do I know? Because when we were mammals eating peaches from trees for millions of years, we didn't look inside the peach and say, that's a worm, I'm not going to eat this. We didn't do that. We ate it. And our bodies adapted to do good things with the worms that we got. That's why the majority of population around the world, they eat bugs. The vast majority of people eat bugs. It's kind of insane that we don't. Not that I want to, but, it's just an understanding. They can't prettify their ugly by a name change. We're watching. Yeah, they can't. And so we have to, but we have to let people know, because we're watching. A lot of people aren't. A lot of people will get confused with it. That's why I tell people, if your apple says Arctic on it, don't touch it. It's not an apple. It's an alien species. It could have come from the planet Melmac. But that's my biggest issue with GMO, is it's just not, it's alien. It didn't evolve here. It is a mixed together of genes in a monstrous plant that nobody knows the long-term effects of, but it didn't evolve here. It's never been inside the human body, so it's not going to go inside of mine anytime I can say no to it. It's a pure experiment. That's what it comes down to. I'm not going to say it's going to kill you. I'm not going to say it's going to make you healthy. I'm going to say that we did not evolve to eat it, so it's a good idea not to put it in your kid's mouth. It's an experiment. I don't believe in corporations selling products, forcing them on the public and not labeling them so you know that you're eating an alien, genetically modified thing. And that's my biggest issue. I was talking about Neil deGrasse Tyson today to a young kid, loves science. And I agree with everything Neil deGrasse Tyson said. The only place we disagree is he's a smart guy. We disagree on the whole God spiritual thing. But he's supposed to be that way. He needs the grant money. We disagree. We disagree on the alien thing. He doesn't believe in aliens, or he's not allowed to say that, something like that. We disagree on that. And the other thing we disagree on is he said that we've been genetically modifying plants for hundreds of years or thousands of years. And he's wrong. Breeding plants is not genetically modifying them. Breeding plants is bringing together two plants, cross-pollinating them in a natural way to make a natural plant. Genetically modifying a thing is taking a completely unnatural process to bring together two genetics. Can be from a plant or it can be from an animal. The strawberries, they use jellyfish DNA, putting two things together that in nature would never, ever, ever come together. That's not natural. So that's the difference between genetically modified. It's an unnatural process that's man-made, and you're making a creature that's never existed on this planet ever. And breeding plants, growing out plants in hybrids for taste and whatever else is a completely natural process that can happen in nature. You're just encouraging it because when you put these two things together, you get a flavor in an apple that you like. Last couple of comments and I'm gonna go. My eyes are starting to hurt. That's why I'm like struggling to read. There's something about this laptop's messing with my eyes. I gotta probably tune down, or I think when I do this, I like sit inside of it, and so my eyes are starting to hurt. So I'm the last couple of comments and I'm gonna go. Support farmers markets who grow organic. Absolutely, Kate. And I'll go beyond that, Kate. I'll go out on a ledge and I'll say support your local farmer, no matter how they grow. Because there are some farmers who will grow organic no matter what, and they'll just lose their crops. And I love them to death. And those brothers, but they have that wisdom, right? Like they still remember how to grow that their grandfathers grandmamas handed down to them. But then there are farmers who rarely ever use pesticides. And if you talk to them, they'll tell you. Like when you go to the farmer's market, you just ask them, say, do you use pesticides? And they'll say yes or no. And a lot of times they won't lie to you because they're local and they're trying to build up a local business. And they'll be honest with you. They'll say, well, it depends. On certain years, I might have to do this and whatever I might do. But this year, I didn't do anything, right? And you're still getting an organic product. So I'm more fearful of an organic label on a crop that comes from another country that's shipped in by a big business that had a model of using pesticides, but now magically they don't. I think I'm a little skittish about that than a local farmer who says, I grow organic most of the time. And the times I actually have to spray it, the years, I'll tell you. I think I trust that more. But that's about getting to know your farmer. The other powerful thing about that is if the farmer's trying to be organic, because remember, the poor farmers, they don't use pesticides on the pesticide schedule. They never want to use it. They're trying to keep the bottom line as their operational cost as low as possible. So they don't want to use pesticides at all. So they'll use them very rarely. And the only time they'll use them, or when they use them, they'll use very little. But if you talk to them and they're trying to grow organic, they know that you're looking for organic, and they want to work with you, then it'll encourage them to look more into the natural growing methods. And the more organic farmers we get, the better. Because I personally believe you can buy organic all day in the grocery store you want. You're still going to get some pesticide. To me, it's smarter to build up small local farmers and let them see how that plays out, where you ask for organic and they know that that's what you're looking for, and they start to grow it. And when they're honest and they don't use it, they sell more. Like, that's building up strong local communities. But no, I wouldn't. If they told me they use pesticide that year, I wouldn't buy from them. But I would definitely go to local farmers market, and I would completely 100% support the organic farmers. And if I'm looking for beets or something, and there's somebody with beets there, and he's like, no, most years I don't try to use pesticide, but I did this year, not this year, I might take a chance on it, because he's still going to use less pesticide than what the conventional farmer in the grocery store uses. That makes sense. That's kind of how I think about that. We've been hybridizing, not genetically modifying. Exactly. Eileen, and that was one of his other points, is he said that, well, if you want to go back to eating non-hybrid plants, you can eat them. They're just nasty. He doesn't know what he's talking. He has no idea. Like, think about it like this. Think about tomatoes. The most delicious tomatoes are the heirlooms. But think out this process. Think out this process. So if you're a plant and you're competing with millions of other plants to make a tomato or an apple as delicious as possible, so the deer will eat yours first and eat all of yours and then poop your seeds out everywhere. It's a competition of who can make the best tasting fruit for the local mammals. The idea that heirlooms are disgusting and hybrids are delicious is stupid. Like, I do get the fact that, yeah, you can breed two things together in which a plant couldn't figure out over millions of years. That makes sense. But theoretically, over time, the goal of that plant is to make a fruit that has more and more sugar, or more sugars than the others, better flavor than all the competition, because it's the one that would survive over hundreds of millions of years. And so, he says a lot of crazy stuff. Oh, what's going on, Brother Harley? Raw milk? That's a rough one. That's a rough one. I'm not a milk guy. I'm not a milk guy because milk has casein, so I steer people away from milk. The challenge is we're the only species that actually drinks booby milk from another animal, and I don't think that's a good idea. I think, well, of course, from a legislation perspective, I don't think anybody should tell you what to drink. There are a lot of harmful things in milk, but, I think there are a lot of questions around that we'd have to ask. Are the things harmful in milk because the cow is being raised sickly, right? Like most cows, like the dairy and the beef cows, they keep them alive on antibiotics because they don't feed them natural diets. If you had a cow that ate a natural diet, lived a natural life, it wasn't stressed, it wasn't doped up with pharmaceuticals and pesticides and everything, I would imagine that the raw milk would be healthy. I don't think it's a great thing for you to drink all the time because of the casein, and casein fertilizes cancer cell growth. That's why I always push people to go read the China study by Dr. Colin Campbell. Read the first 25 pages. It'll explain to you, casein. And it doesn't say don't drink milk. What it basically says is that the casein that you take in has to be less than 11 or 12% of your intake, and cancerous growth stops. But when it goes beyond that, cancerous growth picks up. So I'm hesitant on milk, but if you drink milk, I'll say it like meat, right? If it's natural, organic, free range, and it's not doped up with drugs, you're probably safe. I actually drank raw milk before. I had a friend who owned a dairy farm. And he just said, hey, drink this. This is raw milk. So, okay, I'll drink it. I drank it. It was sweet. It was delicious. I never tasted milk that tasted that good. But that was only the one time that I drank it. Yes, I can't do cow milk, but goat is good. Okay, and everyone's kind of got something different. Me personally, I do a lot of coconut, a lot of rice, and peanut milk even. And almond milk, mostly what I drink. You didn't rip the calf away from the mother. Yeah, and that's the problem, Nancy, too, is but the good thing is I think people are really starting to think about those things now. I think they're really starting to think about the stress and the pain, of treating animals the way that we do. I think about milk. I think about milk the way I think about, people who hunt, right? There was a time where we used to hunt for our prey, and they lived good lives. I remember I am a vegetarian, but I don't judge people. I don't tell people what they should do. But if I were a meat eater, as much as possible, I would eat from ethically raised animals that lived free and lived good lives, that weren't stressed. Not because when they die, we eat that stress. I think we do. And I think we eat a lot of the problems that make us sick. But because to torture an animal and then eat it, it's just, I can't see where that's a good idea. I can't see where that's a sentient thing to do. Most of our ancestors, when they actually killed a buffalo or a deer or whatever it is, or a wolf, and they ate it, they not only prayed over it, they gave thanks for its life. They had a lot of respect for it. The animal lived a good life. And so if I did still eat meat, I would do my best to get meat from hunters. I'd probably do my best to get it fresh. I'd probably do my best to support the farms that ethically raise animals in a good way to be happy. And weren't just raising as many as they could in the smallest spaces they could on as many drugs as they could because they're trying to make as much money as they can. That's kind of where I stand on that. Some need to still hunt to survive. Right, Christine, which is why I'm not against hunting. I'm not against hunting. My vegan friends won't like that, but I'm not. I think that, people hunt to eat, and taking that away from them is kind of hypocritical, right? When you go to the grocery store, you're hunting. When you go to the grocery store and you go for your beef, you're hunting. You're on your game trail. I don't think it's any different from a hunter that goes out in the woods, except for the hunter that goes out in the woods is getting an animal that lived a good life, and the meat's going to be a lot healthier. Do I eat seafood? No, Deborah, I don't. I don't eat any meat at all. I don't. If it has, what do they say? If it has eyes and an anus, I don't eat it. Polyface farming. I don't know anything about polyface farming, Kate. If you send me a link, I'll take a look at it. I've never heard of polyface farming. Hi, new to your live. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Emmy, for sharing. Okay, thanks, Emmy, for sharing. Emmy is awesome. I drink almond milk. Yeah, Blanca, I drink a lot of almond milk. I actually, you know what I love the most? When I was at Claudia's cabin, she made a hemp milk and a hemp creamer. It was amazing. I need to buy hemp probably. I want to grow hemp. That's what I want to do. But I need to buy hemp and make some hemp milk. The hemp milk was delicious. Son-in-law bow hunts deer, tastes good. Yeah, Lori, you know what? When I used to live in Maryland, I had friends who bow hunted and they give me meat every now and then. I think I liked there were venison burgers. He had a venison ground beef, which was delicious. I was in Florida once. I ate alligator. Didn't like it. I didn't like it. I'm not an alligator person, but I'm done with meat though. I've been off of meat for probably a little over a decade, so I'm actually done with it. I think there's a phase of time where you can bounce back, and I guess some people bounce back. It's up to them if they want to bounce back, I guess. But most people, I find, after you go beyond a decade and you don't eat meat, you don't go back. Not only does your body no longer produce the enzymes to break it down, there's something about, I can't explain it. There's something about living off of not killing multicellular organisms. Now, mind you, I'm not prejudiced. I eat a lot of bugs because every apple, tomato, all these things I eat, they have bugs on them and they're dying. They're dying a miserable death. They're going in my mouth and they're dying. All of it's dying. They're dying. So I don't judge anybody, but I feel a little something good. I feel a little something better when I don't eat animals, and I feel healthy. I feel strong. I don't feel as bogged down. So I wouldn't go back, and it's not really because you're killing animals. It's because I feel great. I haven't been sick at all since I ate meat, and I don't want to go back. I don't like having headaches and stomach viruses and flus. Slaughtered animals release lactic acid due to the fear. Yeah, somebody was telling me about that when you eat scared, fearful animals that live stressful lives, that you pick up on that stress, you pick up on that energy. And that's something to think about. Something to think about. Well, listen, folks, it's late, tired, got to go home, got to get out of this workshop. Thanks for hanging out. This is Gerard. I'll probably be back tomorrow. I think I want to maybe have a conversation. I haven't talked to Chris in a long time. Good brother, talk to Chris a little something, have a little conversation and catch up maybe if he's around. But either way, I'll be back tomorrow. If not, man, I'll do some aliens. I love to talk about some aliens. But anyway, this is Gerard coming from the garden. I love y'all. Thanks for joining. I'm out of here. Y'all have a wonderful weekend. If I don't talk to you, bye-bye.